Hey there, my name is Kelly Dale and I am owner of Off the Beaded Path in Forest City, North Carolina. Today is September 21st, 2011, and I'm going to show you how to make a fun, festive pair of witch hat earrings. Now, it's been a really long day at the bead store, but I wanted to be sure and get a video done for you guys so that way you'd have something to watch. Since we're going on vacation for the next week, there won't be a video next week. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Now, like I said, we're going to be doing some festive fall earrings, and we've redone a pattern. My friend Kim found a pattern online back in the summer for a Santa's hat, and we loved it, and we thought, why can't we just adapt it for a witch hat? So we've kind of redone the pattern, and basically you can email us, Kelly at offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com, for a copy of this, or Sammy will have it on our website, offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com, for a few weeks that you can actually go and look at it there. Basically, what you're going to need for this project is we've used size 11 delicas. You're going to need black, and I'm using a metallic gold for the hat. Now, I'm using the 24 karat gold plate delica. Those are a good bit expensive, or some people feel that they are, so you may want to drop down to like a silver line gold or a bronze or something to that effect. And then you're also going to need a size 11 delicate and a lime green for the hair. Now, if you want to redo this for a Santa's hat, you'll want to use red for his hat. You'll want to use white for the little brim here, and then you'll want to do white for his hair, so that way it looks like the Santa Claus. So you'll also want to be sure and use a size 10 or a size 12 beading needle. Do not use a flexible needle or a big eye needle because it won't be stiff enough for the project. I'm also using some 8-pound fire line today, so that way you will have a good stiff project when you're finished. So the technique that I'm going to teach you is brick stitch, and it's 2-bead brick stitch. So it's a little different, and it goes a lot quicker, so I hope that you enjoy it. So let's get your materials together and we'll get started. Okay, so here's our pattern that we're going to go by for the witch earrings. And to start, we're going to start at the widest part of the witch's hat, which is the bottom. And we are going to be doing 12 ladders across here at the bottom. And what we'll actually be doing, because we're going to be picking up our rows of 2 at the same time, you will be able to finish this in one row. Then we'll drop down and do the gold, and then each time we're going to be decreasing until we get to the very top, where we're going to add the little loop here for the earring. So I've got my needle threaded on to about a yard of fire line, and to get started you're going to pick up 4 size 11 delicas in the black. And I know somebody's going to ask this, so I'll go ahead and say the reason we're going to use delicas is because a delica is a perfect cylinder shaped bead, and it's a lot easier to use, and it looks so much better. So we've got our 4. I'm going to bring it down, and you can either leave a good tail or not, it's up to you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back up through the first 2 beads that I threaded on, coming from my tail up, so that when I pull, this is what you have. And I'm going to try to zoom in just a little bit more here. Whoop. Now, I'll take the needle, and I'm going to come down through the stack right next to where I'm coming out at. So I have 2 stacks of beads. My tail is coming out of one stack. My working thread is coming out of the other. I'm going to pick up 2 beads, My tail is coming out of the bottom, so I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come right down through the same stack of beads to make a circle. And I'm going to pull. And then I'll take the needle and come up through those 2 beads that I just added on. So now you have 3 stacks. Pick up 2 beads. My thread is coming out this way. I'm going to take the needle and I'm going to come back through that same way to make a circle. And then I'm going to come through the stack that I just added. Again, pick up 2 beads. I'm going to come through the stack that I just added to make a circle. And then I'm going to come through the stack of 2 that I just added. And so now that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stacks. And I want to continue until I have 12 ladders going across. Once you finish your 12, this is what you should have. Your tail coming out of one end and your working thread coming out of the other end. Now, when we look at our pattern here, we have our first row of 12 that we've done. Now, the next row is our gold, and it drops down to 9. So when you finish up, you are coming out of the very last stack. So what you want to do is take your needle and you're going to come up through the stack right next to where you're coming out at. Now, if you look through your beads, here on the top, you have what I call thread bridges. And basically, a thread bridge connects one stack of beads to the next stack of beads. So this is called a bridge here. And then this stack is connected to this stack using that thread bridge. From now on, you're not going to go through beads, you're going to go under the thread. So to start, I'm going to pick up 4 gold beads. And I'm coming out of this stack. I'm going to skip my very first thread bridge and I'm going to come up under the second thread bridge. So you're going to go under the thread just like that and go ahead and push it on through and pull, and it's going to look like that. Now, I know that's not pretty. No worries. We're going to fix it. Take your needle, come up through the 2 beads right above where you're coming out. Now, come through the first 2 gold beads here, and then up through those same 2 end gold beads again. And what that's going to do, that's going to straighten it up a little bit. It's going to straighten up your stack, and it's also going to pull them together a little bit more, and you can just straighten them up there with your needle if they're not perfectly straight. Pick up 2 beads, 2 gold ones. I'm going to come to the very next thread bridge, so I'm not skipping any. I'm just going under the very next bridge. I'm going to pull, and I'm going to come up through the 2 beads that I just added. Pull it nice and tight so they pull straight down. Again, 2 beads. Go under the very next thread bridge. Pull, and then take your needle and come up through the 2 beads that you just added. So now that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4 stacks of gold. So you want to continue until you have 9 stacks of gold beads. Once you have the 9 stacks, this is what you should have. So you can see the hat is taking shape very well. Now back to the pattern. Our first row is complete. Our second row is complete. And now we're on to the third row. And as you can see, this has 2, 4, 6, 8 stacks of beads. So again, we are decreasing. And I'm going back to my black beads again. So I'm going to pick up 4 size 11 delicas in the black. And since we're decreasing, I'm going to skip the very first thread bridge and come under the second thread bridge here. And they sit pretty wonky, so to fix it, you go up through the 2 beads right above where your thread's coming out. Down through the first 2 here. And then back up through those first 2 that you just went through. And again, if they sit a little sideways, just straighten them up. No worries. Okay, so now you just continue regular brick stitch. So you're going to pick up 2 beads, go under the very next thread bridge here, pull, and then take your needle and come up through the 2 beads that you just added. Pick up 2, go under the very next thread bridge, pull through, and then go up through the 2 beads that you just added. And you're going to continue in this manner until you have 8 stacks of the black beads. Once you have your stack of 8, you now have the next layer finished. So now you've finished the first layer, the second layer, and the third layer. So you're on to the fourth, and we're going to have 2, 4, 6, 7 stacks of beads. So again, for the last time here, I'm going to show you, we're decreasing all the way up the top of the hat. So we pick up 4, we skip the first thread bridge, come up through under the thread to the second thread bridge, go through the 2 beads right above where you're coming out, down through the 2 you just added here on the end, and then up through the 2 there at the end. And now pick up 2, go under the next thread bridge, and then up through those 2 beads. So you'll continue going up the witch hat. We had 12, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and then 2. And when you get up to the very top, I'm going to do mine and I'm going to show you how to put the loop on up here. Okay, so this is my witch's hat so far, and I'm down to 3 beads here on the top. I'm going to pick up my 4 just like I normally would, and I'm going to skip the first thread bridge and come up through the second just as if I had a long row of beads here. So I'm going to go under the thread bridge, and I'm going to fix my beads just like I normally would, up, down, and then back up again. And now I'm ready to add the loop for the hat. So it depends on how many beads you want. Normally I pick up about 6 to 7 beads. So today I'm going to pick up 6. I'm coming out of this end bead here. So I'm just going to come down through the stack right next to it to make my little loop for the hat. Now if you want to, come back up through that next stack and reinforce the loop again. And you reinforce it just by going back through all those beads that you just added for the top. Alright, so now the top part of my witch's hat is finished. if yours, like if you look on my side here, some of my beads aren't sitting straight. They're tilting inward, and that's exactly the look I want to go for. When I think of a little witch's hat, I don't think of a perfect thing. So I want that little look. If it bothers you, just take your needle and work back down through the ends to fix those, and it'll straighten up. Now comes my favorite part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to stitch down through my stacks of beads to come out of, let me see, I'm coming out of this side. So I'm going to stitch through these edge stacks to come out of not through the very first one here, but through the second stack of beads. So I'll simply come down through 2 beads of one stack, 2 beads of the next stack, and just on through the outside until I come out of not the first stack, but the second stack of beads. Now, I'm going to take my tail and my working thread, and I'm going to tie these together into a couple of knots. And then, before I trim off this tail, I'll stitch it through a few beads. But I'm ready to get started on my witch's hair now. And to me, this is the funnest part. So here's our pattern, and here's the bottom row. You're coming out at this stack here. So you can see the first stack, we're going to pick up 20 green beads. The second stack, 25, and so forth until you work your way back down. You're going to start out short and get longer until you get to the center, and then come back. So I'm going to go ahead and trim my tail off, and then I'll show you how to add the lime green beads for her hair. Okay, I trimmed my tail off, and I'm coming out of my second stack of beads. I threaded on 20 lime green beads, and I'm going to come back up through the same stack of beads that I'm coming out of, which is my second stack. So when I pull, I have a loop of lime green. Now I'm going to come down through the very next stack of black. My pattern tells me this stack is going to be 25 lime green. So I'm going to pick up 25. And once I get those 25, I'm coming out of the third stack. So I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come up through the very same stack that my thread is coming out of, so that when I pull, now I get my next loop of hair. And then I'll come down through the very next stack. So as you work, I just did the 20, the 25. So now I'm going to move on and do each of my stacks the number that it tells me to, and I do not put any on the last stack. Now, if you don't want to do her hair in lime green, you can do other colors like a red or orange or anything like that. So have fun with the little hair, but go ahead and finish your stack off the bottom. So once you have all the hair added, this is what you have. And I think it's a really cute festive earring without being too overly blunt or whatever. You know, it's just real fun. So I come up through my next to last stack like I normally would. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple half hitch knots. I'm going to take my needle, put it under the thread between my last stack here, leave myself a little loop, go back through the loop and pull, and then I'm going to come down through the stack and then back up the stack next to it, and be careful not to get your thread caught, And then I'm going to come up through a stack of gold, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to kind of wiggle in between the gold and the black, leave myself a little loop, go through the loop, and pull. And then I'm going to go up through a couple of stacks of the black here along the outer edge. And then I'm going to take and trim off the excess so that now that's what I have. The only thing left to do my earring is add my ear hook. So I'm going to take a pair of flat nose pliers, and I'm going to use gunmetal ear hooks because her hat is black. I kind of want to stay with the whole Halloween theme. So I'm going to open the ear hook, thread on the hat, and then make sure you get the ear hook good and closed so that now that's my finished earring. So I think these are going to be so fun to wear for the Halloween holiday and just be so much fun to wear and make. Now, if you want to see the Santa, this is the Santa. So you can see they're very similar, but they're for two totally different holidays, and they're just really fun to make. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I'm going to be busy the next few weeks trying to get some of these made for all my friends because I know they'll want a pair of these because they're just fun to do. So like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. Again, be sure and check out offthebeadedpath beadstore.com to get a copy of the pattern if you want that. If it's late and you've already taken it down off the website, then be sure to email us, Kelly at offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com, to get a copy of that pattern sent to you for free at no charge to you. And be sure and check out our Etsy store, which is located here at the bottom of your screen, to look at all the materials that we have on there and all the fun other tutorials and things like that. A lot of people ask, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you, the ring that I have on is one of our tutorials on Etsy, and the earrings that I have in is a new pattern and will be a new tutorial and kit on our website very soon. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day and that you have a fantastic rest of the week and weekend. And remember, no video next week, so I'll see you guys refreshed and good to go in a few weeks with a new project. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.